The news is finally out. Sergio Perez and Red Bull have decided to go their separate ways. Lawson will be stepping into Perez's seat, marking the end of Perez's time with the team for now. Although Perez will still be part of the Red Bull family, his future in Formula One is uncertain. While Perez's experience and financial backing still make him an attractive option for many teams, it's clear that Red Bull has chosen to move forward with a new focus. Red Bull's decision comes after what has been a tough season for Perez. Despite a strong start, where he earned 4 podium finishes in the first 5 races, things took a turn for the worse after Monaco. The rest of the year was filled with struggles, and the team, while offering him a new chassis, couldn't turn things around. Perez's performance in 2024 was underwhelming, leading Red Bull to make the tough call of preparing for the future. As the season progressed, the pressure mounted on Perez. The team gave him all the support they could, but the results simply didn't follow. In fact, Red Bull's management made it clear that it was Perez's decision to step down. However, this statement doesn't quite add up when you consider Perez's own comments. He mentioned that he had a contract for 2025 and that, barring any changes, he was planning to finish it. But it looks like Red Bull had already made up their minds, aiming to strengthen their lineup for 2025. When talking about Perez's departure, Horner explained that while the season started with promise, especially after Perez's early podiums, things started to slip from Monaco onward. Red Bull did everything they could to support him, but it seems like Perez himself believed it was time to step away from F1 for a while. Perez's camp, however, disagrees, stating that they didn't want to leave and that the decision was not theirs to make. Now, Perez faces a tough situation. With very few opportunities left in Formula One, he's in a position where his future in the sport is unclear. That being said, he could still play a significant role off the track. Perez's influence in the Americas is undeniable, and Red Bull may keep him on as an ambassador, especially given his importance to the Mexican Grand Prix. However, if Perez isn't actively racing, there's a real risk the race might not remain on the calendar for much longer. Keeping a good relationship with Perez seems essential for Red Bull, as his backing brings not only popularity but also significant financial support. From Red Bull's perspective, the main goal moving forward is securing 2 drivers who can consistently score high points. Perez's performance, however, was not up to those standards. Despite having one of the fastest cars on the grid, he only finished 8th in the driver standings in 2024. It's clear that Red Bull is thinking about the long term and Perez no longer fits into that vision. While Perez's departure from Red Bull was expected, there's always a twist in the world of Formula One. Could he join another team? One possibility that stands out, though unlikely, is Cadillac. While their focus seems to be shifting in a different direction, we can't entirely rule it out. Cadillac, like many other teams, is looking for a driver with race-winning experience to pair with a younger talent. Perez fits that description, but his performance this season has raised some doubts. Despite being in one of the fastest cars, he was unable to challenge for wins, a problem when you're expected to lead a team competing at the top. Perez's potential move is further complicated by his financial ties to Red Bull. His sponsors, like Carlos Slim and his company Telcel, have been a major part of his success, and it's uncertain how his departure will affect Red Bull's financial backing. The team could lose significant support if Perez's sponsors pull out, which makes the decision to part ways even more difficult. Perez's situation is also about balance. He's been in the spotlight for years, balancing the demands of a Formula One driver with his personal life. Perez himself has admitted that the relentless 24-race calendar is taking its toll. His family, his wife, and 4 kids are always waiting for him back home, and it's not easy to keep up with the demanding lifestyle of an F1 driver. This is where Horner's comments make sense. He suggested that Perez take some time off to reflect on what he wants for the future, whether it's returning to racing or exploring other categories, like sports cars. For now, Horner believes Perez needs a break, something to recharge before making any decisions about his next steps. As for the future of Red Bull, Horner has made it clear that Lawson is the preferred option. While Lawson has less experience than others, his racecraft and performance have caught Red Bull's attention. With just 11 races under his belt, Lawson's potential is still untapped, but he's shown resilience and a strong work ethic that makes him a promising addition to the team. In contrast, Tsunoda, with his 4 seasons of experience, didn't impress Red Bull enough to take Perez's spot, despite his speed. Moving forward, the key challenge for Lawson will be managing the immense pressure that comes with being Max Verstappen's teammate. It's undoubtedly one of the hardest jobs in Formula One. Horner emphasized that the most important thing for Lawson is to avoid putting too much pressure on himself. Competing against Verstappen, often seen as the best driver of this generation, is no small feat. Lawson will need to stay focused, ignore the noise, and work closely with his engineering team to get the most out of his car. If he can do that, there's no reason he won't succeed. For Tsunoda, this situation could be a major blow. With Lawson taking the seat, Tsunoda now has the task of proving that Red Bull made a mistake. However, his future in F1 could depend on how Honda plays its cards. If they manage to secure a seat for him in Aston Martin from 2026 onward, Tsunoda could still have a significant role to play. The collaboration between Honda and Aston Martin could give him the platform he needs to prove his worth. But much depends on timing and Honda's influence. The situation at Red Bull is evolving, and it's clear that the team is focused on securing the future with a strong lineup. Keeping Perez for as long as they did was a move influenced by financial backing, but now the team's priorities have shifted. They need drivers who can consistently perform at the highest level and help them maintain their dominance in Formula One. Perez, despite his experience and support, wasn't able to meet those expectations in 2024. Red Bull has always been known for nurturing some of the brightest talents in F1, from Sebastian Vettel to Daniel Ricciardo, and now they are hoping Lawson will follow in those footsteps. While the future of Max Verstappen is uncertain, given the upcoming rule changes in Formula One, Red Bull needs a driver who can step up, whether as a strong number 2 or, in the case of Lawson, a potential leader. The changes in the team reflect their long-term vision, and it's clear they're planning for a future beyond just winning races. They want to build a team that will last. Looking ahead, Red Bull's decision to promote Lawson rather than Tsunoda is definitely a bold move, one that will surely be scrutinized in the coming seasons. The choice to go with Lawson, despite his relative inexperience, shows that Red Bull is prioritizing potential over experience. While Tsunoda has had several seasons in Formula One, Lawson's performances have impressed the team enough to give him the opportunity to prove himself on the biggest stage. Meanwhile, the racing world will be watching closely to see how Tsunoda reacts to this. If Honda can help secure him a seat at Aston Martin starting in 2026, it could be the opportunity he needs to showcase his talent. But with the growing competition and the involvement of powerful teams like Ferrari and Mercedes, Tsunoda's future is far from guaranteed. The next few years will determine whether he can rise to the challenge. Red Bull's decision to part ways with Perez has undoubtedly reshaped the team's future plans. As they continue to evolve, it's clear they want to build a stronger and more consistent lineup for the coming seasons. Perez's exit isn't just about performance, it's also about the team's vision for 2025 and beyond. While Perez brought invaluable experience and financial support, Red Bull now needs 2 drivers who can challenge for championships and consistently score points at the highest level. The shift in Red Bull's approach may also signal changes across the F1 grid, with other teams reevaluating their driver strategies. As new talents emerge and established drivers make moves, Formula One continues to be a dynamic and ever-changing sport. For Red Bull, the focus is now on building a team that can dominate the sport for years to come, with Lawson taking a pivotal role in that journey. Time will tell if this decision proves to be the right one.